And that, my friends, is the messy, chaotic, jaw-dropping story that no one saw coming. Jim Jones caused Chrissy significant emotional pain, while Cameron is out there smiling like the king of pettiness that he is. However, this story is far from over, so we want to hear your thoughts. In the comments section below, share your wildest theories. Was Jim completely unprepared, or was he simply ignoring all the signs? Is Chrissy playing some sort of advanced survival game, or is this the ultimate betrayal? Let's be honest, is Cameron just stirring the pot for fun, or does he have a bigger plan up his sleeve? The courtroom was electric with energy. If someone had dropped a pin, the sound would have sent shockwaves through the building. Reporters whispered. Fans crowded the windows, and security guards looked as if they were ready to call backup at any moment. If you're as addicted to celebrity drama as we are, make sure to hit the like button, smash subscribe, and ring the notification bell. You don't want to miss what's coming next because, believe me, in the world of fake news scandals, the tea only gets hotter, the secrets only get dirtier, and the drama never ever stops brewing. At the center of the storm was Chrissy Lampkin, the woman he loved, the woman he fought for, the woman who just broke his world with one dirty little secret: a child. When the judge entered, you could feel the room holding its breath, but no one really cared about courtroom etiquette. Jim Jones, the man whose name was once synonymous with loyalty, brotherhood, and Harlem hustle, sat motionless at the defendant's table. He had no shades, no swagger today, and no chains swinging heavy across his chest. You have to go back years to when Jim and Chrissy were hip-hop's hot couple, before the secret child, before the courtroom betrayals, before the social media meltdowns. They survived club fights, messy family drama, breakups, and even Chrissy proposing to Jim on national TV. A move. Today, all eyes were on Jim and Chrissy and the stack of papers on the table. The papers allegedly proved Chrissy had been hiding a child for years, and Jim Jones had no idea how we got here. Shocked fans and turned Twitter into a battlefield overnight. They were messy, complicated, and solid, or so we thought. But now everything has fallen apart. The rumors that Chrissy had a child that no one knew about, the cryptic tweets that didn't make sense until now, the anonymous direct messages that slid into blogger inboxes, the receipts that were allegedly locked away until today, and the classic hip-hop soap opera style of Cameron Jim's former brother-in-arms turned master of petty revelations were the ones that brought everything to a head because, of course, he was in what can only be described as a courtroom. Mic drop Cameron presented the court with actual legal evidence revealing Chrissy's alleged secret: a child born years ago during a brief break in her relationship with Jim. According to sources, Chrissy had gone to considerable measures to conceal this child, even moving states, setting up phony social media accounts, and arranging private payments to keep the truth from coming to light. Now that the truth was out, it was plastered on every major blog, TikTok page, and hip-hop radio show in America. Witnesses claim Jim didn't even bat an eye when the news first broke. Instead, he simply sat there. The prosecution wasted no time in laying out their case, releasing financial records that showed monthly transfers to a private trust, screenshots of alleged emails between Chrissy and Mr. X, and even a birth certificate with Chrissy's name and a blank space where Jim's should have been, and the courtroom exploded with gasps, cries, people covering their mouths in disbelief, and even the court stenographer. Chrissy, meanwhile, stared straight ahead, breathing heavily and blinking slowly, as if he watched the life he had built burn in smoke. Claimed to have stopped typing for a moment because Cameron's smirk widened and Jim's world shrank. For those of you who aren't aware, yes, Cameron and Jim have a complicated past. They were once best friends and the Dipset brothers, Harlem's favorite sons, until everything fell apart over egos, money, and loyalty. Now, Cam wasn't just revealing Chrissy's secret, he was further destroying Jim's already damaged reputation. But wait, it gets worse. Court documents claim that Mr. X, the man connected to Chrissy's secret child, is not a stranger and is a chatty security guard who couldn't keep his paycheck a secret. Translation: this betrayal cuts deep. Outside the courthouse, fans went crazy. Within hours, TikTok detectives went into overdrive, piecing together timelines, zooming in on old photos, analyzing every blurry background, and analyzing every baby stroller they could find. One viral TikTok even claimed they cracked the case, based on the shade of Chrissy's sunglasses in 2014. The internet is still unbeaten, while Jim's longtime supporters were divided. Some defended Chrissy, arguing that everyone has the right to others, demanded answers, yelling betrayal louder than Dipset's ad-libs. Where was Jim during all of this silence? No tweets, Instagram stories, or press statements were sent. Sources close to Jim say he's been completely blindsided, heartbroken beyond repair, and prepared to consider leaving the music industry entirely. Imagine Jim Jones, the man who represented Harlem more than anyone, leaving because of betrayal from within his own home, not because of rivals. Industry insiders are speculating about canceled endorsements, dropped collaborations, and more. Record labels are pulling away from the controversy because no one wants to be associated with a scandal this explosive, especially when the receipts are this messy. Meanwhile, Chrissy has not made any statements or provided any explanations, and the only thing that is louder than her silence is the rumors that are spreading like wildfire throughout the industry. Meanwhile, Cameron is thriving by posting memes and cryptic captions, stoking the fire one shady post at a time. One Instagram story from Cam simply featured a Dipet Eagle logo that had been altered to cry cartoon tears, with the caption, "Never trust thee," and as the clock ticks toward more testimonies, more leaked receipts, and possibly even a Mr. X court appearance, one thing is certain. This isn't just a scandal. This isn't just a breakup. This is the potential end of Jim Jones's empire as we know it. And the worst part, people, is the story isn't even close to being over yet, because just as the court adjourned for the day and Jim attempted to slip quietly out the side door away from the screaming fans and flashing cameras, an emergency filing hit the judge's desk. New witnesses, new allegations, new evidence, and if you thought the world woke up anticipating the drama, Twitter was on fire, TikTok was exploding with conspiracy theories, every gossip blog, YouTube T channel, and podcast with a microphone, and an opinion was screaming one thing. And if you thought that secret child was the only bomb that was about to drop, you're dead wrong. Tomorrow's testimony could blow this entire case high, and trust me, you won't believe who's about to be dragged into this next. The world record-breaking headline about the unexpected witness in Jim Jones's secret child was released by TMZ. The scene outside the courthouse appeared to be a bizarre mashup of a music festival, a news conference, and the Met Gala. Fans held homemade signs, and yes, Cameron was right all along. Banners waved in the wind, and a man selling bootleg Secret Baby Tour 2024 t-shirts for $20 each had a full Dipset jumpsuit on. Inside, Jim Jones was back at the defense table, looking 10 years older than he had been 2 days prior. His body, language conveyed exhaustion, defeat, and betrayal. The judge called the courtroom to order. Then the unexpected witness was led in. Gasps went around the room as everyone realized it was none other than Mona Scott Young, the executive producer of Love and Hip Hop and the queen of reality TV chaos. Yep, Mona was the puppet master of the reality show Madness, the woman who had chronicled Jim and Chrissy's highs and lows for years. Now, she was set to testify in the largest reality TV-adjacent courtroom drama ever. Under oath, Mona confirmed what everyone had only speculated about for years. A child about unusual absences regarding mysterious private trips Chrissy had taken without Jim. Mona said she had even been approached by Chrissy once with a terrifying request. "If anyone ever asks about me disappearing for a while, say I was filming promos." The courtroom fell silent, and Jim Jones reportedly lowered his head into his hands. Then came the shocking turn of events. Footage purportedly showing Chrissy and tearful phone calls slipping away during filming breaks, canceling shoots last minute, and yelling at producers with lines like, "I, the prosecution, played a heavily redacted video for the courtroom," which showed a detailed whiteboard covered in photos, arrows, dates, and circles, connecting everyone from Jim to Cameron to Mona to random Love and Hip Hop side characters. "If this ever gets out, I'll lose everything." The Q Collective courtroom gasps again. Outside, social media had exploded, with TikTok users reacting live. One viral post, Chrissy's Secret Baby Timeline Explained, had 5 million views in an hour. Who most likely had nothing to do with this at all. Twitter was just as brutal. Chrissy's exposure and Jared dips at downfall trended at the same time, memes went viral, and Cameron's photoshopped Love and Hip Hop Secret Baby Edition poster appeared. on the cover of Detective Comics, Jim's most famous line, "We fly high, no lie, you know," changed to, "We cry high, no lie, you know." The streets were savage, and even celebrities joined in, including rappers, influencers, comedians, and others. However, the judge was not amused, warning that it was still a court of law even though it was becoming a reality show circus. And more leaks would not be allowed. Good luck with that. The next witness, an anonymous friend of Chrissy's named Jane Doe, was under strict protection. She told the court tearfully that she had known about the child for years and that she was afraid Jim would abandon her. She said that she was certain that keeping it a secret was the only way to save her life. According to Jane Doe, Chrissy confessed everything on a girls' night out with alcohol, and he swore her to secrecy. At this point, Jim Jones appeared completely depleted. He didn't say anything, didn't react, just stared at the table like his. As if things couldn't get any messier, the prosecution called their last bombshell witness, Mr. XY. Yes, the alleged father of Chrissy's secret child. The gallery held its breath as Mr. X entered the courtroom wearing a sharp suit and dark shades, and he confirmed everything. He and Chrissy had been romantically involved years ago during a difficult time in her relationship with Jim. The child was real. The payments were real. The secrecy was real. I respected her wishes. Mr. X claimed she wanted to shield Jim from the suffering. Reporters scrambled. The judge adjourned the day with one final statement. This case is spiraling, far beyond civil court. State and federal investigators will now review financial records for possible fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. Bloggers screamed into their voice memos, and even Cameron reportedly whispered, "Damn," under his breath. Mr. X went on, "I wanted to tell Jim many times, but I honored Chrissy's decision." Then came the bombshell, which no one saw coming. Mr. X claimed that Jim and the child had once unknowingly crossed paths at a DePet event, of which Jim was unaware. Fans cried, cursed, and cheered throughout the scene of complete chaos. One man wearing a Dipset hoodie yelled, "This is worse than when Rockefeller split up." The world waited breathlessly for day 3 as the sun set. Would there be more witnesses? More bombshells, Jim finally speaking? Or Chrissy finally breaking her silence? No one knew, but everyone knew that the biggest celebrity trial of the year wasn't over by a long shot. Cameron, of course, was the last to leave, smiling calmly and saying to the horde of reporters, and with that, the stage was set for what would be called the final day of testimony had arrived, and everyone knew that today would be the day that everything burned to the ground. Jim Jones stepped out of his black SUV under heavy security, this time without a hoodie or sunglasses, just a hard, blank stare. The sun had barely risen over the Manhattan skyline when the crowd began to line up again, which included fans, bloggers, influencers, conspiracy theorists, and even people who probably didn't know who Jim Jones was, but just wanted to say they were there. Jim himself took the stand first, and with the entire world watching, he gave what the New York Times would later describe as the most agonizingly raw celebrity testimony ever heard in a courtroom. The tension inside the courtroom was oppressive, and even Cameron, who had treated the previous 2 days like his own private comedy show, sat motionless and stone-faced. The air smelled of sweat, cheap cologne, and the kind of desperation that only comes when the truth is about to hit like a wrecking ball. "I loved her," Jim said, voice cracking. "I gave her everything. I never lied, I never cheated, and I never even thought she could do this to me." The courtroom froze. People leaned forward in their seats, and reporters gripped their pens tighter. Jim wiped his face and went on, saying, "I would have accepted the child. I would have loved the child. All I ever wanted was honesty." Social media exploded with hashtags and prayers for Jim Chrissy's betrayal. Fans wept openly inside. Chrissy stared ahead with no emotion or explanation, and then the final piece of chaos dropped. Prosecutors presented. What they said was indisputable evidence. The courtroom gasped so hard that oxygen almost disappeared. The prosecution rested. The defense made a feeble attempt to argue that the footage was misinterpreted and out of context, but no one bought it. The judge gave his closing statement. "The civil case remains, but in light of growing evidence, I am referring all materials to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for further criminal investigation. Chrissy and Mr. X were seen leaving a luxury hotel together late at night. The timestamp was less than 48 hours after Jim and Chrissy had filmed their tearful reconciliation scene on Love and Hip Hop Seasons 2 and 3. It didn't take long for the real-world repercussions to set in. Jim's music career, reality TV legacy, and meticulously curated brand were all in ashes by the time he left that courtroom. First came the sponsors, clothing brands, and beverage companies. Next came the labels. Rumors circulated that Def Jam executives had an urgent meeting hours after the trial ended to discuss ending all future collaboration opportunities. Even fellow rappers who had supported Jim for years abruptly went radio silent. Another viral edit included Cameron with a phony FBI badge superimposed over his chest with the phrase, "Detective Killer Cam the Scandal Slayer." Another used Jim's famous We Fly High music video with the audio changed to Alone and a single tear streaming down his cheek. Meanwhile, Chrissy disappeared. No posts, no statements, no paparazzi sightings, entirely vanished. But Cameron was having the time of his life. He posted an Instagram video the same night sipping champagne and looking through a large stack of court documents. "You all wanted receipts." I got a hole, he stated, winking at the camera. "See?" The internet went crazy when Cam revealed a limited edition line of detective hoodies the following day. The hoodies sold out in a matter of hours. He then launched a podcast called The Petty Files, whose trailer featured Dipset beats over courtroom sound effects. Even mainstream media couldn't help but take notice. Rolling Stone called it the decade's greatest celebrity takedown. The Shade Room called it simply Woo Chile, and the final blow came just days later. Later, according to TMZ, the Manhattan District Attorney officially opened a criminal investigation into possible fraud conspiracy and tax evasion. The DA said, "We will follow the facts wherever they lead. No one is above the law." Fans wondered if Jim would be charged as well, if he was just collateral damage, or if everyone around him had actually played him. Even Dipset fans had to acknowledge that the once powerful Harlem Empire had collapsed in the most dramatic way possible. The memes kept coming from Dipset to Deadset. Timeline, Chrissy, and Mr. X. The greatest hidden feature in hip-hop Cameron's face was photoshopped on a cereal box labeled Petio's 100% drama in every bite. But Jim stayed silent in the middle of the chaos. His last public act was to remove all of Chrissy's photos from his Instagram. The unfollow was quick and cold, the ultimate 2024 celebrity breakup move, and then it was over. Or was it just that? Fans, bloggers, and gossip sites all agreed on one thing. This felt like the end of the story, but it was also the quiet before a much larger storm. Rumor had it that Mr. X had been approached to write a tell-all book. Even in an interview, Mona Scott Young hinted at unreleased footage that would blow people's wigs back. "You think that's the end, honey? I have archives." Now, the world waits. Will Chrissy ever speak? Will Jim ever return? Will Cameron ever stop trolling? Spoiler alert, probably not. In the end, Dipset's legacy will be remembered for its music, and the scandal that overshadowed it all. The courtroom may have closed, but the internet never shuts down. What do you think? Was Chrissy playing the long game? Did Cameron plan the ideal retaliation? And if you enjoy this roller coaster of betrayal, secrets, and relentless petty energy, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Because if there's one thing we know about the world of celebrity scandals, it's that the tea never stops brewing. Stay tuned, stay messy, and be ready for the next twist. Oh, it's coming. And there you have it, people. The messiest, wildest, and most chaotic celebrity implosion of the decade, in which Jim Jones broke Chrissy, vanished, and Cameron sat back. Somewhere, counting Dipset detective hoodie sales and sipping wine like the petty king he is. But trust me, is far from over. Tell us who is winning this battle of betrayal. If you enjoy explosive scandals, celebrity drama, and a side of cold-brewed petty shit, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss anything. We read all of your wildest theories, even the ones that are unhinged. Did Cameron just spill the tea, or did he execute the most legendary revenge plot in hip-hop gossip history? Another breathtaking moment because Believe me, given the direction this story is taking, the next shocking revelation is only a few steps away. Stay attentive, stay shady, and stay messy.